I'm John Leech. I'm the team coach for the Great Britain team against the United States of America in this Roberts match. As coach, the guys here are all very good shooters. So I'm not showing them how to shoot. I'm not coaching them individually. I can tell you that each one of them in the team is a lot better than I am as a rifle shot. However, what I do is I read the conditions on the range. That means that when a bullet's fired, the wind is altering where it's going to go, and so you can point at the middle, but if there's a strong wind it will knock it to one side. Indeed, it's quite complex. Sometimes we also have mirage, and that is when we're looking at the target, it isn't exactly where you think it is because of the hot air on the range is moving. So virtually what they're doing out there is impossible. But they're experts. Each shooter is an expert. So my role is to try and bring in some value added and assist them making their decisions as to when they're going to get their shots absolutely in the centre of the target. Conditions are changing constantly. The sun is going in and out today. The wind is coming across the range, sometimes strongly, sometimes less strong. Its direction is changing. On a hot day, the directions change a lot. So all of that is very complex. I can't add all of it, but what I try and do is to take out the bits that are going to cause damage and let them know before it happens. I will be calling constantly the wind direction and its strength. So as I'm calling the wind, I will say 10 o'clock gentle, 10 o'clock gentle, 10 o'clock gentle moderate. It's turning, it's now at 9 o'clock. Now what does that mean? 9 o'clock is a very strong wind because hitting a bullet square on at 9 o'clock will knock it further than if the wind is coming at an angle. If it's an angle of 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, the deflection will be less. So even though the same strength, there could be a lesser or a greater change in the bullet by its direction. Additionally, I could say the same direction, but the strength may be different. So again, that would make a different deflection of the bullet. All of that sounds very complex, but these guys are in tune. They've been shooting all week. They know the wind, they feel the wind, they see the wind, they watch the wind. And by that, they've got good scores this week, which is why they've been selected for the team. So they will read the conditions. They can do 2 or 3 things. One of them is that they're happy, or they're sighted in, or we use the word zeroed on a certain wind. And they can wait, if they are ready to shoot, they can wait until they hear me call that wind. That makes my call quite critical. Or they will listen to it all and gradually adjust. Now, each rifle has sights on it, and those sights are adjustable for windage, as we call it, which is left and right, and elevation, which is up and down. And so they will be making those changes where they predict their next shot will land. And if they think that following their last shot there will be a change, they may adjust their sights. Some of them may make that adjustment by aiming a little left or right or up and down. We call that shading, because it isn't actually aiming off, it's just shading. Just that tiny bit. You can almost imagine a little swerve on a snooker ball. Just that tiny adjustment will put it in the middle. That's very, very tricky, but these guys do know what they're doing, and some of them will adjust the sights, some will shade, some will wait for the condition. Those are the 3 things. Today we've got some, as you can probably see on my face, some bright sun, and in the background there's clouds whipping across. Those are going quite fast, and in the main they're going across the range from left to right. Well, that is quite tricky, but the wind, although it's medium strength, that means that it won't cause a disaster, i.e. the bullet going a long way off the target. It will cause them to drop a score, so they may lose 1 or 2 points on a shot as opposed to a 10, they may get a 9 or an 8. Perfect shot is a 10. So they will be looking to keep those shots in the 10 ring, and what today's weather may do is to surprise them, because equally, if they've adjusted their sights for a wind that's going to be knocked out, if they don't spot that the wind has dropped, the shot will go in the opposite direction and they will lose the shot the other side of the target. That's equally as bad. So they're looking very much. Today's wind is not physical. We can feel it. It's enough to feel, but it's not knocking the tents over. It's not the flags, so no one's getting hit with the wind. These rifles are quite big, and the wind on the shooter can make a difference. Obviously, if you can have the perfect aim, but if your gun moves as you pull the trigger, that will make a real difference. A while ago, I was talking about the wind and explaining to some people, and they said, well, would you coach our team? This is 20 odd years ago. And there was a lady there who was a brilliant shot, been shooting for years, and she said, don't worry about me, I won't be listening to you, I've been shooting for years and I don't need so-and-so, so-and-so. That's fine, I'm just going to give some information. If you want to use it, use it. At the end of the shoot, she came up to me and said, that's the best I've shot all week. I've never heard anything like what you've just done. I said, well, it's what I do, and I enjoy doing it. And if people enjoy their shooting better through just hearing me describing what's going on the range, then good. I'm happy. But there's no rewards other than it cheers me to see people improving. If the Great Britain team get a great score today, and I'm part of that team, we're all in it together, and I'm delighted. The water has just been coming in from our left-hand side, and it was constant, and stiff wind with it, and also a tricky wind that kept coming in onto the shooters, which brought the rain onto the shooters, water coming onto the sights, their front sights, etc. Very difficult.
Is that unusual?
Yes.
Unusual conditions?
Yes. We often get a lot of rain, but you don't get it coming in towards the shooters.
Everybody handled it?
We will see. I think it may be the Americans handled it better than we did. Right. We will see.